So can you actually make realistic blood in LEGO Stopmotion? Today I tested 3 different methods to find out. For level 1, I used LEGO bricks. So I grabbed all my LEGO boxes and started pulling out every red LEGO piece. I didn't actually know I had so many. Then I began to sort them. What I wanted to use for the blood were these flat, smooth pieces that didn't have any LEGO bumps on them. This made them look way more realistic for blood. Now my actual plan was to animate a tire rolling down a hill and then rolling over a LEGO guy, leaving a trail behind. But when I opened up Dragon Frame, I encountered a really annoying problem. My camera just kept adjusting the light and the focus. Luckily I figured out that it was an autofocus the whole time. Otherwise that would have been really annoying. If you're an animator, please watch out for that. You always want to have it on manual focus. Otherwise, your entire animation is going to look like crap. Next, I started to animate the roll of the tire, and I had to use little black pieces of clay to keep the tire from actually rolling down the hill. As a tire rolls down a hill, it picks up speed, so each time I had to add more space in between the frames. Next, I zoomed in to get a good view of the character, who had to turn and run away. But then the worst thing happened. I forgot how to animate. Well, to be more specific, the running animation. This is super annoying on LEGO figures because they don't have much mobility, and this means you have to figure out a running cycle that has enough frames to make it look like it's running, while you also need to be going fast. And this is really hard when you have a low frame rate. In the end, mine turned out to look a lot more like a fast walking animation. But now it was time for the final step, running him over with the tire. And to make it look like he was being crushed, I removed his legs and pinned his body to the tire and kept moving his body down and getting rid of different body parts until he just looked like a little red smear behind the wheel. In the end, here's how it turned out. As you probably noticed, using bricks didn't really look like real blood though, and that's because the shape of the blood isn't a square. Anyways, for the next part, I wanted to use something that gave me more control over the shape of the blood, clay. It's really easy to shape it into anything, and it works really well for liquids. And for the next animation I had in mind, it worked quite well. My original idea was to have a shark bite off some guy's legs, but then I realized that I didn't have a shark, and if I wanted to order a shark, it would have delayed this video. So instead I came up with an idea involving a wood block, and the idea was that the wood block would basically fall on the guy after he walks up to it. So it's very simple, but it's gonna be amazing. This time when I animated the guy walking though, I wanted to actually make it feel like he was walking, and so I animated him at 10 frames per second instead, and this really made it look really nice, and it really looked like he was actually walking, not like some weird thing. And then I just tilted the block and let it drop 1 frame at a time. This gave the illusion that he was being crushed, but still I really needed to add more blood. I added some red clay to the LEGO guy's dislocated arms. Next frame completely blew up his body, replacing it with a red lump of clay. Here's the final product using clay for blood. Using clay worked really well when he died on the ground, but theoretically if he died in the air, his blood would splatter, right? But making tons of little droplets with clay and keeping them in midair would be a ton of work. You would have to hide all your rigs. It would just be a nightmare. I'm just going to say it. So yeah, there actually is a very simple solution, and I hate to say it, but you could just fix it in post. No, literally. So for the third method, I was just going to draw the blood on later. This helped me keep everything simple while it was animating, so later I could fully focus on the way the blood splattered and make it look realistic. So for this animation scene, I wanted to take full advantage of that and do something I hadn't actually done in recent years. Come on, when I was 9, I was making movies that had way more guns, way more violence, and way more blood than freaking Quentin Tarantino. Yo, that shit's scary, bro. Anyways, I really wanted to animate a LEGO guy shooting another LEGO guy in the face. Just for fun, you know, like bring back the inner child inside me. So I got to work. The first thing I did was animate him walking over again. But hey, I started getting really good at it though. And then the other guy looks at him and then he just gets shot. So it's like a little bit violent, but I'm just trying to like work with the blood here, you know. It's for the animation. It's for the animation, yo. It's trust. Either way, the animation turned out looking pretty good, but obviously something was missing. I mean, come on, what's this? Like, come on. obviously I had to add the blood effects. So I went into Procreate Dreams and started animating the blood. Basically the way I did this was I just added my video into Procreate Dreams, and then I added a flipbook on top of that, which I could animate blood onto. But I accidentally animated the flipbook at 24 frames per second while the animation was actually only at 10, so I got some interesting dynamics. You might just notice the liquid looks a little bit more fluid, but in the end it looked pretty much fine, and it was very satisfying. So, what do you guys think? Was this video way too violent for you? And please let me know which method you liked best. If you're an animator, please let me know what I could do better in my animation, and also subscribe because I'm trying to build a community filled with animators. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Cue the outro.